Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Menowave Lounge, hot flashes and cool conversations. Today we have Coach Allie with us, a board certified sexologist. We're going to find out all about her, and she has some amazing things to say. Hi, Coach Allie, how are you?
I'm doing awesome, Robin. How are you?
Good, good. We're going to be talking about sparking your sex life during menopause. That's going to be
Yeah.
interesting. Coach Allie is a board certified sexologist, sex coach, integrative wellness coach, and a PhD candidate in mind body medicine. She helps menopause women and beyond reignite their desire and reconnect with their sexuality through her She Be Me framework, a holistic model that weaves together body, mind, energy, and more. Allie is the founder of the Passion Zone and the host of the upcoming TikTok show Love Notes, launching in the fall of 2025. Hi, Allie. How are you?
I'm doing great, Robin. How are you today?
I am good. It's a little warm where I'm at. We're just trying to stay as cool as we can. It's almost like a hot flash.
Almost, I know. And with the humidity, it's hard to escape it.
Yeah. Tell me, how did you get into this line of work? And tell me a little bit about it just quickly.
The Cliff Notes version, I grew up in a Catholic household where sex was taboo. And if you ever tell a Gen X person, don't do something, to discover what it is. I really jumped in learning more about sex in my 20s and helping couples with their love lives. And of course, sex kept popping up. What do we do about our sex life? And I thought I could give them my 2 cents, or I can go learn some more stuff and give them that as well. So that's what I've done. I keep learning, something I love to do.
When we're talking about sex, especially in menopause, we think about our libido and where it is currently. Why does it drop in midlife?
Good question. We have three hormones that take care of us through most of our life: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Testosterone is in charge of our sex drive and physical energy. As the other two decline, so does testosterone. And as it goes down, so does our libido.
What kind of
Yeah.
conversations do we have around this shift in our body and in our libido? What are some common misperceptions or things we should know about our libido?
There are a lot of misconceptions. Gen X, when we hit this wall and became perimenopause and menopausal, we didn't know what was going on because our family didn't talk about it. The grandparents didn't talk about it. So when we hit it, we didn't know what was going on. The men definitely have no clue what was going on. A lot of things I've heard from couples is the partner is worried that she no longer feels attracted to them. That's one. And two, maybe that person doesn't love them anymore because they're not attracted to them like they used to be. And three, I hear a lot about maybe they're cheating on me. And that's why they're not in the mood to have sex with me. And 9 out of 10 times, that's all false. Sometimes some of those do happen, but it takes educating the perimenopausal menopausal woman first and then giving her information to pass on to the partner. Because if she tells them in a lot of relationships, he's not actually going to believe it. It's going to be an excuse to put sex and intimacy off again. So I make sure I supply them with plenty of info that they can pass on. And I've even offered to talk to many partners as well.
Can you give us one or two pieces of information that our ladies would like to know?
About the drop in sex drive,
Hmm.
yep.
As far
There are a lot of books. There's a wonderful group that we're all a part of here where information can be given out about the drop in sex drive. It is something that happens to every single female at some point in time. There have been over 62 different symptoms that can happen for women. And loss of libido and vaginal dryness at some point happens to everybody. Those two, along with hot flashes, are the most common.
yes. When we're talking about having conversations, number one, educating ourselves so that we can speak frankly, we can speak kindly, we can speak intelligently with our partners or our husbands about what we're going through. How does that conversation start, do you think?
It has to be at a time where neither one of you are upset or emotional about something. Okay. This can't happen at the beginning of an argument or even at the end of one. You both need to be pretty calm. I always tell women write notes. You don't have to write everything out, but write yourself a list of things that you're going to talk about because it's very easy to get off subject. When you have scientific data, partners like data, print it out so you can go down the list. And if they have questions, you can hand them the information, read and hopefully learn about it. They're excited about learning about it because it'll help not only them deal with you going through perimenopause and menopause, but it can strengthen the relationship to a part where these awkward conversations don't need to happen as often because you both understand what's going on.
Mm. That's really good to know because sometimes these conversations can be difficult to have with your partner. One of the conversations that we're starting to see happen a lot more is men and their hormone levels and some of the ED issues that may be happening for them at these ages. Is that something that comes up in conversation for you and your clients?
Yes, it is something that comes up in conversation. Men's testosterone can drop, and it's very easy for them to get testosterone hormone replacement therapy, much easier than it is for us women to get it because testosterone is still labeled a man's hormone. They can take testosterone supplements and the cream, and they turn back into a teenager again when it comes to their sex drive. So, ladies, if your man's going to take testosterone supplements or cream, you better be prepared because they do turn into an 18-year-old again when it comes to their sex drive. And ED it happens. It happens to just about every man at some point in time. You always want to rule out that they're not having a blood flow issue because men need a good blood flow to get an erection. Sometimes as they age, if their arteries are getting clogged because of lifestyle or the things they've eaten or drank over the years, the erection can be more difficult to come by. So it's always good to have that checked out first. In the health realm, the blood flow seems to be fine. Then our brain, which is our largest sex organ, affects both men and women. With men, they are stressed at some point. Something is on their mind. They might not even know what it is. And they're having a difficult time getting erection because of a blockage, a mental blockage in their brain.
That's really interesting because that brings in a different side of the conversation. How do we know if we have emotional blocks that have been with us for a long time are now coming out? That's really interesting, especially because sometimes men don't know how to talk about their feelings. It takes a little bit of patience and time in these conversations to speak lovingly and kindly and say, I want to make this work. Let's figure out things that work best for us. We as women, we're not microwaves, we're crock pots. It takes a little while for us to get in the mood, so to speak, or maybe we are in the mood, or maybe we're not in the mood, but sometimes we want to be in the mood. How do we do that? Talking to your partner so you can feel safe, go slow if you need to, and let him know what feels good for you is really important
Exactly.
because men do want to know but their ESP button is broken. You have to tell them, show them what is right for you and how you want to be touched and held, loved, and spoken to. What are some other things we can do to help with the conversation or set the mood? How about that?
For the conversation, when you're talking to, especially a man, about what's going on, and if he's having difficulties, you always want to put in there, how can I help you?
Hmm.
Okay. How can I help you so that he realizes he's not alone in this struggle? Women don't like to be alone in our struggle, and really men don't like it either. They're just a lot more hesitant to tell us because of how we were raised. Men were raised, especially Gen X men, to keep things to themselves. So that's one way you can help to bring out this conversation and to help him. Now, for a nice bedroom sanctuary, for intimacy, a lot of times, especially as we're older, we go into the bedroom, we fall asleep. And if sex is on the table, it's usually in the dark. We don't think we need anything special. But it's nice to set the room up for intimacy. It's nice to have what I call an intimate, a romance or intimacy routine. A routine is you're going to do the same thing before you start having sex every single time before you're going to hop into bed. Maybe you have a candle that you light. Second, maybe you have a playlist of songs on your phone. For this romance routine, you want to make sure your playlist is set for when the two of you first started dating. Mm. Even if you started dating back in high school in the 80s, just like aromas can take us places, so can music. Mm. Transport us back to when life was fun. So maybe you have that playlist. You can have an essential oil diffuser with maybe some cinnamon essential oil in there or clary sage. Both help with the arousal state of our brain. So we have a nice scent going. We got a candle, we have some music, we have a nice scent. If you throw a t-shirt or a scarf over a lamp, it creates some mood lighting. Now you have a nice little romantic atmosphere for intimacy. It brings a nice layer into the two of you being together.
Yes. And I might add, put things that are comfortable for you to either wear if you're not completely comfortable being completely naked, which I'm not. I like to wear
Yes.
something a little bit sheer. I like to maybe have a nice back rub to get things started so I can relax.
Yes.
I like the language that we use with each other is really important. Talking through things, letting you know that you love your partner and saying the love word and or maybe bring in a little bit of humor just to break the tension or anxiety that might be happening. And go back into a time when sex was very enjoyable for you because our emotions can take us back there. So I really like that.
Yes. Candles now that melt down into massage oil.
So, what do you think about having lubricants and things like that?
When we hit this stage of our life, our vaginas get very angry. She's dry. Yes, angry vaginas. She doesn't like being dry. So it is important that if you're not using any type of hormone replacement therapy, you use vaginal moisturizers. They're over the counter. You usually use them every other day to keep her nice and happy. And then for intercourse, definitely have vaginal lubricants. They sell lubricants with CBD oil in it now. It helps with any type of pain we might be having. Sex can be very painful as we age. And there's no such thing as, oh, we've used too much lube. No. Goes all over him if your partner's male and on yourself at the entrance of your vagina. Anything that goes in has to be lubricated. It's not as carefree and non-planning as it used to be. Something else that can lead to painful sex is our pelvic floor. When we get into perimenopause, it gets a shakeup. And with that, we can have painful sex because it's so weak. One way to tell if you have pelvic floor issues is if you try to pee in a cup. And when we hit menopause, it's like you put the thumb over the hose where it sprays everywhere, and the cup has to chase the urine. Pelvic floor issues. Trust me on this one.
Wow, I had never heard that before, and that explains a lot. It,
Yeah.
it does. A very good tip. The other thing that I've seen several couples talk about is the time of day. Maybe afternoon delight is more of your speed because by the time we hit nighttime hours, we're tired. And don't bother me. Scheduling some sexy time for yourself and your partner, there's nothing wrong with that. You can say,
No.
meet you in 20 minutes and get yourself in the headspace and in the mood. Set those candles up. Have date nights where you're paying attention to each other. Go out and have a nice dinner, a walk, see a movie, a concert, where you're doing something together. I think we've lost that type of activity. I know a lot of people that do date night once a week, and it's
Yeah.
important. It keeps that romance in the relationship.
When we're with somebody for any period of time, we get into routines. When we go out, We know what restaurant we like. We go to the same restaurant. We usually order the same food. We maybe have one or two that we switch back and forth from. That sameness also carries over to the bedroom. We get into routines. You don't have to think a whole lot about something. But when you interject something new, so when you go out on your date night, try a new restaurant, try a new activity, go walk at a brand new park, it wakens you up. It has you both paying attention. Your mind's not off to what do I have to do when I get home, or I have to call this person, or have I done this chore yet? You're not thinking about that because you're in a new space with the two
Mhm.
of you together. And the same happens in the bedroom. If the two of you have been together for any period of time, you know what works and what doesn't work for the most part. The routine, ABC. You don't have to pay attention when you're in bed with somebody if you know the routine. It's all muscle memory, the whole routine for both of you. So it's always good to interject something new into the bedroom. New
Mhm.
on dates, new in the bedroom, and neither one of you will be on autopilot.
You'll have a new journey and experience.
Date night about new things.
I like that idea because when you're exploring and doing something new and laughter is some of the best
Yeah,
medicine. If you're not laughing enough every day, then you need to think about why aren't we not laughing? Why are
yeah,
we not having fun? Let's go and check some of those things out. I really all those suggestions because you can take any one of those and you can build upon them and expand upon them and just fall back in love with your partner, fall back in love with your life, and fall back in love with yourself. I think also as we get older, we have a little bit of weight gain, maybe, or we're not as fit as we used to be.
work on
We
it.
need to accept ourselves where we are today and not criticize ourselves and become depressed over our body shape and size because as long as you are working on it every day, doing a little bit more, speak positive words to yourself about things that you're doing, how happy you are, blessings that you have in your life. Your ears hear it and your body hears it. And it really does have a psychological effect when you speak positive about yourself. It does. It keeps you
It does.
emotionally and spiritually. So, yeah. Is there anything else we'd like to go into?
Well, you mentioned not being able to do all the things you used to. You're working at it, but there's still some things you can't do because maybe you're a little bit out of shape now. Your body doesn't move the way it used to. And this goes with in the bedroom as well. There are positions that you guys have done for years, but now you're getting hip pain. Your thighs are hurting more. There's lots of different positions. You can change it up. They have sex furniture to help you position yourself so it's not so painful for you to get into positions that you both love so much.
Sex furniture is something
Yep.
definitely to check out because we are not as flexible as we were when we were 20. So that's
Amen.
absolutely. I like this. I think that this is a really nice conversation. It's good to know that not only physically understanding what's going on with our body, but emotionally and spiritually and connectivity with our partner is really good. Now, Allie, if someone
Yeah.
is working with you, what kind of things do you work on with them?
Oh, we work on getting your intimate life back to where you want it to be. Even if it's stalled out and if you're in the desert, maybe do a lot of conversations. There are lifestyle changes, flower essences, essential oils, positions, anything and everything that we can discuss to bring intimacy back in your life, whether you're with a partner or not. Intimacy is a very important part of everybody's life.
Mm.
It all starts with what I call an intimacy audit. This is where I know where you're at. So you know where you're at. And you come away with ideas and solutions to help you personally.
That's awesome. We'll have a
Yeah.
link for you in the show
Yes.
notes below so that you can start having conversations and start figuring out where you
Yeah.
are at in your intimacy life with your partner. It all starts with a conversation. That's so good.
Everything starts with a conversation.
Yes, it does. So, final notes that you'd like to say to our listeners today?
I will probably think of it after we're done because right now No, I think we're good. I think our tips can be very helpful to women.
Yes, I like the conversation pieces. I like how we set the mood and create a sexual routine, having date night, getting to know your partner again. These are all wonderful things. Thank
Yeah.
you, Coach Allie, for coming on and talking to us about how to put the spark back into your sex life.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin. It's been great being here.
In the notes below, we will have Allie's information. Check out her website, the Intimacy Audit, and the Menopause Women's Support Group on Facebook and Instagram. Check out our other care providers. Watch our podcast if you like this podcast. Subscribe. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Facebook, and Instagram. If this resonates with you or somebody it can help, pass it on. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Menowave Lounge, hot flashes and cool conversations.